Hello, welcome to Glammas Tidbits, episode 6. So today, the topic we're going to talk about is lost. So the objective for today's lesson is about to impart understanding that loss is part of our lives and we need to learn how to handle them. We learned how to accept them and incorporate loss into our daily living lives. Now, what is the definition of lost? There are many. First, unable to find one's way, like loss of directions. Sometimes we experience that and we need GPS. Second, unable to be found, maybe loss of a key of some kind, and a loss of a document. So those are things you cannot find. That's considered lost. And how about something that's been taken away or you can never recover? That is a loss, maybe on an emotional level. A loss of a relationship, a loss of a house, a place of living for you. So that is another kind of loss. How about something that is being destroyed, perished? How about a loss in that sense? That is also impact on your emotional level as well as psychological level and maybe physical level. Loss of energy, loss of ability to do something. Your memory could be compromised, maybe a loss of a residency due to fire, and any kind of a nature type of disaster. So those kind of things that I just mentioned are various different type of loss that we experience. And because of that, those kind of lost experiences impact us in terms of our decision making, in terms of changing our worldview. So let's continue with how should we really look at loss from what perspective? When we are alive, living this life, like I said before, we cannot escape the experience of loss in our lives. For example, a newborn baby coming out of mom's womb, that is already a loss for the newborn because this baby was in a warm, cozy environment, and then now he's out of that environment into the world. So that warm and secure feeling the baby no longer experiences. So therefore, that is a loss. How about a toddler? Toddler, as he's learning how to experience the world around him, he also experienced loss because he gained independence. For example, he had to learn how to feed himself, okay? Before, he had the service of someone who feed the food into their mouth. Now, this person no longer is going to do that because he's gaining independence. So he lost that service, maybe that connection, maybe that time, maybe that attention. So the toddler experienced loss. Now move down further. Another life cycle stage, teenagers. Teenagers experience what? Also, different type of loss. Maybe a relationship of friends, maybe a romance relationship, maybe a loss of their own physical understanding because they are growing, they are experience physical change that perhaps they are welcoming, perhaps they're not. So it's a loss of stability in their physical state, as well as their emotional loss, as I mentioned before, their romance relationship, in the relationship of friendship. So those could be some of the losses that they have experienced. Now, as adults, we experience loss in, could be similar relationship area, or we can experience loss in our jobs. We can experience loss in our marriage. We can experience kind of loss in terms of our material goods. Okay, we might go through a difficult financial situation, so we had to just sell the house, sell the car, in order to get back on our feet financially. So as adults, many losses come our way, and we had to experience them and pick ourselves up and move forward, don't we? How do we deal with loss? There are a couple of different stages that we must go through when we experience loss. First stage is about acknowledgement. Acknowledging that we did have a loss, however big or small it is. Having that acknowledgement, it means we know it's there, we're cleared about that loss, what it is, and what lays before us is what do we want to do with that. Acknowledgement is also about normalizing that loss is part of living, that it's okay to have loss. Now, the second stage, how to deal with loss, is about acceptance. Acceptance of that loss as is. Not try to package it in a very pretty way. Not try to deny this loss. Not try to maneuver or manipulate this loss. Accepting means, okay, this is part of my history. This is part of my experience. Even though it's not a good feeling, but I have learned from it. So therefore, it's okay. I am fine with this loss. That's called accepting. With my grandchildren, sometimes when they have lost, even a little Lego piece they lost, they are very upset about it. What I do is first, doing that first step, acknowledging, oh, I am so sorry that you lost that. I can understand how you feel losing that Lego piece. Now you cannot make other things you might need that pieces with. Second, about accepting. Well, this is how I do it with this Lego piece. So I would pose the question to my grandchildren. How long do you think you want to feel the sadness of losing that piece? Assign them a time frame, or they can assign a time frame themselves. The reason I do that is because there is a beginning and there is an end with their emotional experience. And that also gives them some self-control in terms of accepting this loss. That there is no going on and on and on and on about this loss. And it just teaches them that this is a period of time that they experience this, and then they need to find a method to move on. So assign them a time frame, whatever loss that they are experiencing. And then afterwards ask them, oh, how do you feel that you have this time to really, really being sad about the loss? And then having a dialogue about it. This will benefit them in terms of helping their way of accepting the lost. The following stage after acceptance is about embracing that whole experience. Embracing means that you are okay with it. When we embrace something, it means we are willing. We are willing to admit to it. We're willing to accept. We're willing to be in that state, or to have that history. So embracing that loss is also a stage. How do we embrace that loss? There's a couple of things we do that. First, sometimes we share that loss with our family and friends. We're willing to talk about it, okay? Whatever that loss might be, we're willing to talk about and share. Second, it could be we might find a way to record it, whether it is to talk in the video form or writing something down in a journal, to go over that loss, to find out how that loss began, what happened to ourselves, and how it ended. So journaling about our experiences of loss is also very, very soothing. That's also part of embracing our loss. And the third way is about possibly we wanted to remember this loss because it's an experience that taught us something. In the real world, we are learning about things every day. But we learn even more when we experience loss. So to remember our loss is not a bad thing. And you might want to set up a special way of marking that loss. For me, personally, years ago when I lost my son, I will mark that day with a candle and kind of celebration mode, because I want to remember him of all the good things that he had given me while he was alive. So that have really helped me in terms of embracing and accepting that loss. In conclusion, I think once we know that loss is part of our lives, then we can really have this hope, this positive attitude about how to move on with our lives, and not moving with our lives from a perspective of fear of loss. When we fearful of loss, then we try to sidestepping many experiences, because those experiences might bring us lost. We shouldn't do that. We should head toward living our lives in the most positive, open-minded way, because even we know that at some point we will experience some kind of loss, but that's okay, because that is part of this life journey. I hope today's lesson will give you an encouragement to live your life the way our Heavenly Father has designed it for us. I hope you all can subscribe to my channel and email me in terms of what you like and what you don't like about this lesson about lost or my previous lessons, and then I can reply to you. So hopefully to see you next time. Bye.